Hello investors, welcome to the channel. Here I talk about long-term investing in companies that pay a dividend. This is known as dividend growth investing. My name is Michael, and today we're going to start off with looking at how the market ended for the week and then look at stock futures. Just taking a quick look at the major indices for the week. For the S&P 500 index, it is down 1.32%. For the Nasdaq index, it is down 0.18%. And lastly, for the Dow Jones index, it is down 1.93%. The markets are down this week as more investors lose faith in the potential treatment for the current pandemic. In the news, a lot of companies and laboratories are reporting that testing for treatment for the pandemic has turned negative. Reading the headlines here, Gilead's remdesivir, one of the most promising treatment for the pandemic, has shown no benefit for patients. Basically, the antiviral drug that Gilead has been trying to use in order to cure the pandemic has proved to be unfruitful, and therefore many people are feeling a sense of hopelessness. And this doesn't bode well for Gilead either. In fact, if we take a look at the stock price, it has plummeted down pretty significantly. It started off in the week around the 80s, and when news came out that the drug that they're trying to use to cure the pandemic failed, it actually dropped significantly. Luckily, they are still able to use other treatments and other testing, so the sharp spike in its stock price slightly recovered by the end of the trading week. Let's jump straight into sharing information for people struggling in this current economy. If we go to irs.gov, we see that we have the Get My Payment tool, something that has incredibly underperformed despite Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin's claims. On this website, ideally, you're supposed to be able to sign up for direct deposit. However, this is a huge fail because the direct deposit information can't be updated by individuals trying to access the website for the past week. In addition, starting April 24th, people will be receiving paper checks if direct deposit hasn't been working for any reason. So it's extremely frustrating because ideally when you use this website and you put in your direct deposit information, instead the website will flip information around. I've seen countless of replies that have told me instead of their bank account information, many people shown to have their social security number pop up. To make matters worse, many people are claiming that debt collectors are trying to seize the stimulus checks that are supposed to be helping people in their time of need. Luckily, some states are trying to stop these debt collectors from taking people's stimulus checks. To make matters worse, some people are claiming that the stimulus checks that they have received are actually in the wrong amount. Either they are being paid too little or they're being paid too much. Luckily, for either case, there is a simple fix for that. If an individual has received too much, then they're able to keep that stimulus check and not have to pay it back. However, if an individual believes that they have been paid too little, then they're going to have to refile a tax return for 2020 and show that there was an error in order to get the right amount. And that amount isn't coming to them until the next year, as shown by this article right here. So, if you believe that you received the wrong stimulus check, either too much or too little, then go to this website right here, the get transcript from the IRS. What you do on this website of the IRS is that you can get your tax record. You can download the information that you need by providing them with some information. Once you get your transcript, you can view your tax account and make adjustments for that current year. Once you make those adjustments, the IRS will send you the correct amount that you should have received the first time for the stimulus check. However, this won't come to you until 1 year after you refile your tax return. Please note that the stimulus check that you receive is dependent on income and not being claimed as a dependent. So individuals who receive the maximum amount of benefits should receive $1,200. Those who are considered dependents or from the age of 17 or younger will get up to $500 per dependent for a maximum of $1,500. That means if you have any dependents, they should be filed on the 2018 and 2019 tax return. And if they are somehow missed, then they should be filed under the 2020 tax return in order to get the proper stimulus amount. As of this recording, people have received their paper checks in the mail. According to this article, this is the timeline. By the end of April, people who have Social Security, retirement, survivor, and disability insurance, and who are beneficiaries of those groups who haven't filed tax returns in 2018 or 2019 should receive their payments if they receive their benefits through direct deposit. Then, the following week in early May, people who receive security income should receive their payments in the same way that they would normally receive their benefits. However, if for some reason your bank account information is incorrect, then the IRS will send you a paper check instead, and this can take a very long time. In fact, many reports have claimed that these paper checks may not be received until the end of September. So, if you want your stimulus checks as fast as possible, make sure you file a tax return and include your direct deposit information. If anyone needs to still file their tax return, there will be a link in the description below to TurboTax, and all you have to do is file a simple tax return in order to get your stimulus checks. In other news, the White House has signed the Paycheck Protection Program for Small Businesses and Healthcare Enhancing Act into law. This means that there will be additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, also known as the PPP. This program will be used in order to do a couple of things, to say the least. For one, it will allocate funding for the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, also known as the EIDL. Number two, it will provide funding for hospital assistance. Number three, it will also provide money for the pandemic test kits in order to assess individuals who have the disease. For those who are unaware, the EIDL grant allows businesses to have an additional $1,000 per employee for up to $10,000. In addition, the EIDL grant includes $300 billion in additional PPP funding for payroll expenses, which is a forgivable loan. Next, the EIDL grant allocates $75 billion for hospitals and $25 billion for pandemic testing. In addition, people who are on Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or receive veteran benefits should be receiving their $1,200 automatic stimulus check starting this week. For these groups of individuals, be sure to add any dependents by May 5th in order to get additional $500. This includes people who again have SSDI, SSI, veteran benefits, or railroad benefits. In order to make this claim, you must go to the IRS website and use the non-filers tool. The non-filers tool will be linked in the description below. In other news, the unemployment rate has skyrocketed to over 20%. This means that over 26 million people have lost their jobs due to the pandemic. In order to provide relief, some people have suggested the ABC Act. The ABC Act is a proposed bill that delivers people immediate relief through an initial $2,000 payment through a debit card. Afterwards, every month from that initial relief, individuals will receive an additional $1,000 a month until the pandemic crisis ends. There is a lot of scrutiny behind this act. However, many people who are hurting right now are in favor of this bill. So, if you would also like to receive a one-time payment of $2,000 and an additional $1,000 a month after that initial $2,000 payment, contact your local congressperson and get them to vote and approve this ABC Act. In other news, there was a minor oil market crash earlier this week due to a sharp sell-off on Monday. The sell-off caused oil futures to go below zero. Futures are essentially contracts where you can trade something later on or hold on to that entity and reap the amount when it's due. Ideally, that something has value and will become more valuable as time goes on. So, when it's sold at a later date, you are able to take a profit. A few months ago, there has been an oil price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. Each country increased oil production because they wanted to control the oil pricing space. When one country produced more oil and sold it at a cheaper price, the other country followed. Eventually, oil was mass-produced by each country and the price of oil decreased until it hit zero. Then, both countries continued to produce oil so that the value went below zero. Hence, too much oil is being produced. With all of the oil production, it needs to be used or stored. Before oil is used or stored, it has to be transported and refined. This transportation and refinement of oil has a cost of carry or a carrying charge. The cost of carry or carrying charge is basically the cost of storing a physical commodity over a period of time. Here's the problem. With this pandemic, the demand for oil has plummeted downward because traveling is reduced, so less fuel consumption of oil is needed. Hence, oil isn't being used right now. So, any oil that's not being used is stored. However, there is too much oil for storage. As a result, many companies are paying other entities to buy oil because there is no more room for storage due to overproduction. Hence, oil prices became negative because instead of one entity receiving money to store oil, that entity is now paying other entities to take the oil off their hands. This results because oil is a commodity that is generally in high demand but limited supply. Basic economics entails that a high demand with a short supply results in a price increase. However, in this situation, everything is reversed. Now, there is a low demand for a product, but that product is in high supply, which results in a price decrease. What makes it even worse is that there is a cost for this product to be shipped from when it's in its crude form to when it's in its usable form. Therefore, we saw a negative pricing in oil this past week, which caused the market to go down even further for a little bit. Now, with all this information, let's move onward to my portfolio to see how it's been doing this week. So this is my stock portfolio. Looking at the past year, my portfolio is down 32.65%, which is a loss of about $1,750. Looking at the past quarter, my portfolio is down 24.08%, causing a loss of about $2,400. Looking at the past month, my portfolio is actually up 13.44%, which is a gain of about $960. Looking at the past week, my portfolio is down 1.91%, which is a loss of about $157. And looking at the past trading day, my portfolio is up 0.59%, which is a gain of about $47. So my portfolio this week is pretty much in line with the major indices. However, luckily this past week I also earned some dividends, which is being compounded into this portfolio. If we look just going forward, the earned dividends number that this portfolio is generating is moving upward. This earned dividends number right here is the reason behind investing in this kind of portfolio, because even in market downturns, this number right here will continue to go up regardless of how the market reacts. The only reason that this number would ever stop moving upward is if all the companies that I invest in suddenly stop paying a dividend. Let's take a look at the dividends that were produced by this portfolio this past week. So this past week, I earned 6 cents from Xcel Energy, $1.06 from Cisco Systems, 7 cents from Comcast, 1 cent from Roper Technologies, 1 cent from Humana, and 19 cents from Cisco Corporation. These dividends that I've earned are a result of me owning shares in each of these companies. This is money that I did not have to put any effort into earning besides clicking a few buttons to buy shares. Essentially, I'm earning money while I sleep. This is referred to as passive income. Earnings which are derived from an enterprise like a rental property or a company which require little to no effort to earn and maintain. Although these amounts may seem small, every little bit helps and will eventually snowball into something bigger through compounded interest. So that pretty much concludes the update portion of my portfolio. I thank everybody for watching this video until the end. If this video has helped you at all, then please give it a thumbs up as it will help the channel grow immensely. If you have any comments or questions, then leave them down below in the video and I'll do my best to personally address it, either in the comments or answer it in future videos. I greatly appreciate everyone watching my videos and I hope to speak to you all again very soon. Just remember, file your tax returns and take all the necessary steps in order to receive your stimulus checks Thank you so much and have a great one.